Here we go. Hello, everyone. Let me get my view changed to speaker. Happy Monday evening. I'm Dr. Stacy. I'm so excited you guys are here tonight. If you are a guest joining us, I want to kind of give you a little info here. So I have a PhD in integrative medicine, just about finished with my PhD in functional med. I should have that done by the second 9-hour plane ride back. So we'll see. But I wanted to share with you guys that obviously I'm not your doctor. I'm not your physician. And so the information I'm going to be sharing tonight is informational. I am not here to treat or diagnose or to cure anything. And neither is Lifewave's technology. But I will be sharing all kinds of fun information with you guys tonight that you can, of course, if you have questions, take back to your practitioner or your healthcare provider, whoever works with you. So with that being said, I want to share how this is going to run tonight. So I want you to grab a notepad and a pen or pencil, and I want you to start jotting down some questions. I'm going to share the science and technology of how this product works, and I'm also going to give you an opportunity to ask questions. So I'm going to kind of cover the frequently asked questions up front. I know that a lot of times, some of the questions can be the same thing. So I want to cover those up front. And then I do want to let you know that I will allow you to ask questions. You can type them in the chat and I'll go through that as we go. But please remember that you're not to ask questions about a specific disease or a specific disorder or a syndrome. I can't address those. I can talk to you and how this technology improves the systems and the functionality of the organs and the cells in the body to help bring the body into balance, but I won't be addressing. So if you're like, oh, well, what do you use for MS? I won't be talking about MS because that is a disease. And of course, we're not here to talk about that. I can talk to you about the brain, and I can talk to you about the muscles, and I can talk to you about all kinds of systems and things in your body, but I won't be addressing a specific disease. So just so you know, so if you ask me, I'm going to be like, yep, nope, not going to talk to you about that, but I can talk to you about the brain, I can talk to you about the heart, I can talk to you about the liver, the kidneys, and that kind of fun stuff. So here's the science and tech. Let's go over this. So again, the company's name is Lifewave. The owner of the company and the inventor of this technology's name is David Schmidt. And David Schmidt is a scientist, a researcher. He's a lab rat. He has his degree, I think, from Pace University in biology, and he's just been an inventor his entire life. Okay. And this is his one of his most recent inventions in the last 20 years, believe it or not. And this is a non-transdermal patch. So this is what I'm going to be talking about tonight. This non-transdermal patch, sticky on one side and not on the other, looks like a little round Band-Aid. And what this means, being non-transdermal, it means that it's not transferring anything into the body, no chemical, no substance. So I'm sure you're familiar with transdermal patches, like nicotine patches, pain patches, birth control, estrogen patches, things like that. You put a patch on your body, a chemical or substance goes in, and it's supposed to cause something to happen inside of you, right? Remove your pain or balance your hormones, whatever. Not what we're talking about here, okay? This technology uses what's called photobiomodulation or phototherapy, or you can call it a wearable light technology because you're going to wear it. And so when you apply this patch to your body, I want you to put your hand on your chest right now. You're emitting heat or light, a low-level infrared light. We're 98.6. And so when you apply this patch to the body, our body's light or heat reflects back a signal from this patch. So you see that little white part? So what do I mean by reflects back a signal? So embedded in this white part is the beautiful stuff, right? David has invented what's embedded in this, and it's a crystal lattice structure that's embedded in this patch. And that structure is made up of a group of amino acids and salts and water, sugar, oxygen, organic, proprietary, right? David has a 20-year patent on this patch. And so when you apply this to your body, our body's light or heat reflects back a signal or a specific wavelength of light from that lattice structure. So our body is communicating with that. It's a biophotonic exchange of information. What does that mean for you? Well, when you apply this, you're going to apply it in the morning. You're actually going to put it on CV7 or actually below the belly button. Either one of those spots will work, or you can stick it right here, walk around about your day, put it on your big toe. It doesn't matter. But when you put it on your body, it's going to signal your body to activate, to elevate, to mobilize your own stem cells. So you get up, you put it on in the morning, you're going to leave it on 12 hours. You're going to stay super hydrated throughout the day. Of course, half your body weight in ounces in water. And during that time, it's activating your stem cells, mobilizing them, moving them around, pluripotent stem cells. It's actually resetting a third of our genes. A third. Do you realize that? What it means to reset a third of your genes to their young, youthful, healthy, divine, perfect state? That's huge. That means that you're really going to stop the aging process and reverse the age of the cells and tissues and organs in your body. Now, how do we know that to be true? Well, like I said, David Schmidt, the inventor, the scientist, the researcher, the lab rat, he's done clinical studies. Over the last 20 years, we've done over 90 clinical studies on people. And in the studies, he can show that this actually elevates what's called a copper peptide called GHKCU, and in turn increases our stem cell production and resetting a third of your genes to their perfect young, youthful state. And so we can see this through tests, right? Through measuring the people and of course, following them over progression. And so we can see in these studies how your body's own stem cells can go to work to repair and regenerate, rejuvenate, and restore the balance and the homeostasis in the body. So what does this mean for me? How is this going to impact me? So you're going to get up, put it on, you're going to go about your day. What's going to happen? Well, we know from clinical studies about 3 to 6 weeks in, okay, about 3 to 6 weeks in, people start to notice, about 80% of the people notice improvement in their pain. Their pain starts to reduce or diminish. They notice they have a deeper quality sleep, a REM sleep. They notice they have faster recovery from their activities and daily, fitness and things like that. They have faster wound healing. They also have better memory and concentration and focus and mental clarity. Well, how is this happening? How is that happening? How are people having those kind of improvements, let alone we see improvements in the digestive system and immune system and nervous system around that 3 to 6 week mark too? Well, that's happening because your body's stem cells are waking up again and doing what they did when you were a child. So when you were young, you had an abundance of stem cells. That's why 5-year-olds don't have gray hair and 10-year-olds don't have back pain and 15-year-olds don't have heart disease. But as you age, your body produces less stem cells. Those stem cells become dormant. So they're not doing what they did. That's why when we're in our 30s, you start to get those aches and pains and you walk in a room and you forget why you walked in, you turn around, walk back out. You have a kind of a hard time sleeping. You may notice some digestive or metabolism issues. Maybe you're a little bit more anxious or nervous. Your body's not working to repair itself like it used to. It's kind of start to see that decline a little bit sometimes. Well, by the time in your 60s, you're making less than 10% the stem cells you did when you were younger. Now, how many of you on here are in your 60s? Do you feel like you did when you were in your 30s or even in your teens right now? Well, it depends on how long you've been using this technology, but if you haven't been using it at all, you may feel like you're in your 60s, 70s, or even older, right? And so what this does is it helps your body to regain its youth. It helps your body to get back into balance and so that you can feel young and youthful and vibrant again. I always talk about a grocery list. A lot of people have a grocery list of problems. If I could say right now on your paper, write down your top 5 things that are bothering you. What would you write down on that list? What would be your top 5 things that you would love to cross off that list and not have to deal with anymore? So you all are different. Everyone is different. So we all have different things on those lists. For me personally, on the top of that list, I wanted more vitality. I wanted more longevity, and I wanted prevention. I didn't have any health conditions or issues or symptoms. I had no problems. I had nothing on my list. But for me, those are the top 3 things that I wanted. But for my family, everything was different, right? Every single person had a different thing on their list they wanted. My husband was in a lot of pain, a lot of arthritis, from issues from dirt bike riding when he was younger, a lot of sleep issues, different digestive issues. My son's an athlete. So for him on that list, that meant improved performance and endurance and strength and stamina, and for my daughter, for those of you that know her story, she had been misdiagnosed with cancer when she was 4. And so we spent a year in the hospital fighting for her life, multiple more surgeries and tubes and lines and medicines than I could even count. And we ended up coming out of the hospital with a normal 4-year-old when we went in, came out a year later with a child that couldn't walk or talk and required full care. And so we spent 15 years doing all different types of holistic therapies and modalities and treatments and tinctures and everything we could get our hands on, including over 10 years of different types of stem cell therapy with her. So at the point of finding this patch last year, 18 months ago, I wanted improved speech for her. I wanted improved coordination and ability to be able to maybe take care of herself a little bit, maybe feed herself. I wanted her to balance her hormones. And she hadn't had normal menstrual cycles ever and hadn't had one in 3 years. I wanted her to be able to improve her interaction and communications with other people and to have a better, quality of life in any way possible. And using this technology with her for the first year, she had a better quality of life than she's had in the last 15 years. All of those things were checked off the box and so much more that we didn't even anticipate. We had the best quality of life with her from out of all the 15 years in the last year using this technology. And so no matter what it is for you, we know that this can help bring your body into balance. And it does that with no medications. It does that with no contraindications if you are on medications or supplements or any type of therapies. There are no side effects because you're not putting anything into the body. Remember, non-transdermal. This is a wearable light technology. This signals our body, our peptide GHKCU, to do what it did when it was younger. Laura's going to put a website in our chat, and that website is reverseagingwithghk.com. And that's just one. We're going to share another one with you. But that is a Dr. Lauren Picard had spent 50 years researching and has clinical studies, thousands of clinical studies on the benefits of GHK-Cu copper peptide. And so they're far reached, everything in between, of course, from asthma and allergies and COPD. He even talks about cancer on there. And, it's not LifeWave. So whatever he says on there with GHK is based on his clinical studies. But David knew that. And he thought, okay, I can increase the GHK-Cu. Now I want to go on and I want to increase the body's own stem cell production and the own mobilization of the stem cells in the body. I want to reset those stem cells to their young, youthful state. And it took him 10 years in the lab to figure it out, but he finally did 3 years ago. And that's why you're hearing about this. People are like, well, this is so important. Why haven't I heard about it before? Well, I've been researching stem cells for 20 years. I've banked both of my kids' cord blood. And of course, like I said, with Taylor, I did all kinds of stem cell therapy with her. I've never found anything like this. This is so easy, so effective, so affordable, non-invasive, no side effects, no contraindications. I mean, it's the price of a cup of coffee a day. And it literally gives you the ability to improve your quality of life no matter what's on your list. And so this is something that we definitely can use for an extended period of time. The general rule of thumb is 1 month for every 10 years you are old. That's your starting point. So if you're 40, you're going to look at 4 months. If you're 55 months, 66 months, 77 months, and so on. Why am I here still using this 18 months later? Why do I still have a patch on, right? Well, again, prevention, longevity, and vitality. I know the number one killer is heart disease. Well, we only have one heart. Our clinical studies show that every 6 weeks using this patch improves the functionality of the heart by 8 weeks. Every 6 weeks, the functionality becomes 8 weeks younger. What does that mean for longevity, for prevention, for vitality? What does it mean for you? It means to improve the quality of your heart. Clinical studies are showing that with people. We only get one. And so that's really important for me to protect my organs and my cells and my tissues. And also, why am I using this technology if I don't have anything that's like massive to share, right? I have no massive things checked off my list. Well, as a doctor and a practitioner in holistic health, it's really important that I look at other people and say, how can I help you? What can I find to help you have a better quality of life? What can I find? What can I learn about and introduce you to that may help you improve something in your life? And when I found this technology, like I said, it wasn't about me. Of course, it was about Taylor, but it immediately, when Laura and I went to that first meeting with David, just a couple days after learning about this, we sat there with tears in our eyes and just covered in chills at what we were hearing with people, with what they were experiencing. And they were sharing their personal testimonials from strokes and paralysis and surgeries and car accidents and heart disease. And I mean, they had their scans, they had their blood work. They were, just running down the aisles, screaming, shouting from the rooftops at how this technology had improved their life. And we immediately started thinking of everybody we knew, and then so many more that we didn't even know, right? And thought we have to tell everybody about this because we can't keep this a secret. You know, Laura had healed herself from breast cancer 4 years ago, nutritional, vitamin, IV, supplementation, detoxification. And so using, you know, that holistic approach, when we came and we sat down together, she's like, oh my gosh, carnosine, glutathione, like they compounded that stuff for me. Those were in my IV pushes. Stem cells are like the holy grail of healing. Eon reduces inflammation. Like I know these things from treating myself, you know, naturally, holistically, to remove that stage 3 breast cancer from my body in a matter of 6 months. And she said, this is what I need for longevity. This is what I need for prevention, for peace of mind. So there's not that little, oh, what if, right, in the back of my mind. And so it's really important that you take a look, like I said, of your list and what can this do to help you? It can only help improve your quality of life. It can only help improve the quality of life of people that you know, and you never know how long we're going to be here. And so it's important to enjoy the time that we are here with the people that we love and care about and want to be with. And so I definitely want to make sure I get all your questions answered. I know you guys have a lot of them. And so let me tell you this first. Can you keep using this patch? Yes, you can keep using it. You can use it as long as you want to. I want you to understand something about regenerative medicine before I answer your questions. So regenerative medicine, and David Schmidt, like I said, he's the owner, inventor of this technology. He holds over 130 patents in the area of regenerative medicine. So regenerative medicine means you regenerate something. So we use this technology, let's just say, 6 months, right? We kind of see that around 6 months, you can see improvements about 8 years younger. We start to see the cellular age become about 8 years younger every 6 months. And so say after 6 months, you decide, I don't want to use this anymore. I'm done. I'm 60. I've used my 6 months. I don't want to. What happens to me? Well, you turn into a pumpkin. Everything just goes back to the way it was, and it's horrible. Just joking. Okay. Are you listening? So regenerative medicine means whatever reverses, whatever improves, whatever you check off your list, those organs and cells and tissues have regenerated themselves. That's what stem cells do. And so they're your stem cells again, repairing, regenerating, rejuvenating your body. If you decide you want to stop using the technology, you can. But remember, like if you're 8 years younger on the cellular age, then you're just going to start aging from that day forward. So let's say you're 60 and you use this for 6 months. And you have your biomarkers tested and they show you're 52. Great, fantastic. You decide you want to stop using the tech. Okay, fantastic. You'll start today at cellular age 52, and you'll start your normal daily progression of aging just like you always would, right? Now, what if you kept using the technology? Well, every 6 months is 8 years younger. 6 more months, a year goes by, year's going to go by no matter what. Are you going to be in your 60s or are you going to be in your 40s, early 40s? It's up to you. So another 6 months goes by. Whew, here I am, 18 months using this technology. What happens? I was in my 60s. God, now I'm in my 30s. How did that happen? I feel like I'm in my 30s. I look like I'm in my 30s, right? For me personally, my cellular age is 25. David says we have the ability to get our body back to 25 and hang out there. I'm 48 years old. That's a fact, like checked box, right? Blood markers done, biomarkers done. So you have that same ability to continue to reverse the age and functionality of your cells and tissues and organs as well. So questions. So I have read cells regenerate every 6 to 7 years. Yeah, so about every 7 years, we become a whole new body. Everything is completely different about us. Absolutely. So that is very common that our body and organs regenerate. They all regenerate at different levels, depending on the health of the body. And so this is really important when you look at the body, if there is stress or diet or lifestyle or maybe surgeries or injuries, different types of illnesses, they can cause the body to get out of balance. And so it doesn't regenerate itself properly, or maybe not even at all. It may actually speed up the what we call apoptosis or autophagy. It may speed up the cell death process, which speeds up our aging. Have you ever seen somebody you're like, whoa, she's only in her 50s? What happened to her? Not a good lifestyle. And then other times you run into somebody, you're like, oh my God, she's in her late 60s. That lady looks 40, right? And so you see that depends on what's going on the inside of their body. And so your body can regenerate itself, yes, but depending on what's happened, it may or may not. Can I talk about SP6? Absolutely. Yeah, SP6. So SP6 is a patch that works with your endocrine system and your organs. So this is what we call a supportive patch. So we always start with our X39, this one right here, our stem cell activation patch. This is our starting point for everything. If we want to look at balancing our endocrine system, we can show from clinical studies that you will improve the functionality of your endocrine system by about 87% in the first 7 days. So what does that mean for like your metabolism? What does that mean for your like, say, for example, when you look at your thyroid or your adrenals, those are part of your endocrine system. So balancing that is really important for your overall health. And that's what this patch does. You actually apply this patch. We use acupuncture points. And so David has done all of his clinical studies on different acupuncture points. And so I can look at my instruction booklet here. Let's see if I find the one on SP6. Yeah. And it shows me these are the locations to apply the SP6. And so pick one, anyone, and you can use that every single day. And again, same thing, leave it on 12 hours, take it off, throw it away, do it again the next day. SP6 could be a patch that you could possibly use for a short period of time, right? Maybe 30 days, 60 days, 90 days. We typically look at the systems and the organs in the body, and we say, 90 days, you should be able to get things back in balance. It just depends, what's going on in your body, but it may not take as long to get the systems back, the endocrine system back in balance. It's something that can happen pretty quickly for people. So that's really nice. We like to use this supportive patch. I know I talked to a man, Marty, and he's like, oh my God, I use this patch and boom, I dropped weight like this, like 20 pounds flew off of me. And he said, then I stopped using it. I was like, okay, after 30 days, I'm done, I'm good. And then he's like, I felt like I was losing. I was still trimming down, but not dropping as fast. He said, I put this back in and poof, there it goes again. The weight just started flying off me. I said, well, it's balancing your endocrine system. You might need it for 90 days or maybe even more than that. So we're all different, of course, with what's going on in our body. So biomarkers that say I'm 25 years old, could you show us that report on a PDF? So I do not have that report on a PDF. I have a printout that the nurse practitioner, naturopathic doctor that did my biomarkers that we've written all over a piece of paper, all my blood work and stuff, and she circled stuff and marked stuff and written stuff up. So when you look at biomarkers, you're looking at different organs and you're looking at different systems in your body, and there's different types of biomarkers, obviously, everything in your body. So my page is a 7-page printout that I have from the doctor that we've went over that shows the functionality of, like, of course, my endocrine system, looking at my organs, looking at my pancreas and looking at my heart. We did EKGs and different things like that to be able to measure the functionality of everything, but I don't have that report in a PDF. Do you have experience with diabetic neuropathy? So not speaking directly to diabetic neuropathy, because that is a condition, right, that we are not talking about to treat or to cure. But if I talk about supporting the organs, I would definitely, because you're talking about the pancreas, and I would also, of course, we can address pain when people have pain. So the X39 and the EON reduces inflammation. So this is really important to be able to reduce inflammation at the same time you're increasing stem cell production. So we would look at these two, but we would also look at, like I mentioned, SP6 is fantastic for organs, but we really look at the glycation process. And when we look at the glycation process, we look at carnosine. So you can use these three together for looking at the functions of the organs, specifically with the pancreas, because that's what we found from clinical studies. But as far as pain goes with neuropathy, again, you're using the X39 and EON. We know a lot of times pain reduction happens here. When you reduce pain, you see, of course, reducing inflammation causes that. But we have a patch called LifeWave. And so LifeWave is a patch that is going to get rid of pain on the spot. And so this means that it can be applied to any location, no matter where the location is. So if it's your low back, you can apply it to the low back. If it's your elbows, you can apply to your elbows. So I'm going to show you how that works, okay? So we have two patches. Let me find the tan one and the white one. I throw them back in here, they get mixed up. All right. So for neuropathy, again, we're not talking specifically about diabetic neuropathy, but a lot of times with neuropathy, people experience pain. And so using the kidney 1 point, which is on the bottom of your feet, we have a white patch with our IceWave, and we have a tan patch. And so you would apply the white patch to the bottom of the ball of the foot, and you would apply the tan patch to the bottom of the ball of the left foot. So white right, tan left. And that really helps to open up the energy channels. This gets rid of pain on the spot. It's not going to fix your problem. It's not going to get to the root of the cause of the problem. That's what these are going to do. But this is going to get rid of pain in the area that it's hurting. So for everybody, when you look at nerve pain, it's in a different location. And so being able to address that locally is what the IceWave does. So that's really important. And let's see, another question. So there are patches that you do not recommend using together. No, actually, David has invented these patches. There are a dozen different patches that he's invented over the last 20 years. They can all be used together. The first time Laura and I met David, somebody asked him, how many patches do you have on? He said, I think I have 12 on right now. And we're like, 12? There's only 12 total. And he said, well, there's some that are experimental. They're in the works. We're doing clinical studies. I can't tell you what those are. And we're like, man, we want those patches. And of course, and then here he releases X39 last year. And so we're like, yes, 10% body fat reduction. 60 days, I'm in. So you can use all the patches together. I don't recommend somebody start off on day one and go throw all the patches on. I think you need to really look at what would be a great place to start. Always X39, 100% always. But I highly recommend, as does David, this is coming out of his mouth, that you address the inflammation issue in your body. Almost everybody, doesn't matter what size you are, has inflammation. And that's coming from David. And the inflammation, this patch addresses many inflammatory markers: the fibrinogen, the homocysteine, the C-reactive proteins, the peroxide lipids, the fibrinogen, like I said, all different inflammatory markers are addressed with this. And so when you can reduce inflammation, the same time you're increasing stem cell production, you set the body up for a more rapid, dramatic repair and regeneration process. David talks about it this way. If you were to go get a stem cell injection in your shoulder, and of course, there's inflammation, it's painful, you have, range of motion issues, and, you're looking at possibly even surgery. So you go do a stem cell injection, you've spent, 8, 10, 12, you go to Mexico, it's 25 grand a pop. That's what we did with Taylor 3 times. It's extremely expensive, but you're getting an injection into a location, right? And so what happens is the inflammation is going to consume the majority of the stem cells. So say you inject 2 million stem cells, the inflammation is going to consume the majority of those. You're going to end up with about 200 stem cells. Do you want 200,000 stem cells, or do you want 2 million stem cells? Well, when you reduce the root cause of the physical body disease, right? When the root issue here, inflammation, the same time you increase stem cell production, then you give your body a better chance of being able to repair itself, even in a more timely manner. So you can definitely use those no matter what. For anything and everything, I would use X39 and Eon. That's always your starting point. And here's the thing, we're not here to treat or diagnose anybody. So you're brand new, you've never heard about this, or maybe you're just learning about it, you just got your patches in. I don't know all this stuff. All this doesn't make sense to me. Nothing needs to make sense to you. We have a health tracker. You can read that. It explains the technology perfectly. It gives you a chart on the back to rate yourself on a scale of 1 to 10 in many categories over the next 90 days to get you started. We have a patch summary sheet that shares with you the exact patches and what a blurb of what they do and the exact locations to apply them. And anything can be used together. There are a couple patches that must be used at night. Silent Nights is one, can't find it right now, and Alavita is the other. Can't find either one of them right now, but Silent Nights and Alavita can only be used at night. The other patches can all be used at day, and then there's some that can be used at night too. If you want to use IceWave at night, if your pain is too bad at night, you can use it at night. Again, everything has its own 12-hour window. Glutathione, Eon, Carnosine, those can all be used at night as well. Nirvana, you can definitely use that day or night. Okay, Energy Enhancer and SP6, X39, those all need to be used during the day. But it's up to you. How do I start treating degenerative change in my spine? So when you look at the bones, let's just talk about bones. We look at X39 and X49. So I said that David's most recent patch he just invented last year was X49. And so clinical studies have shown improvement in the bone, actually decreasing bone loss and increasing bone density using these two together. So he invented this to help build lean muscle mass, to reduce body fat. Like I'd said, 11% reduction in body fat in 60 days. But really, the studies show grip strength and bicep strength, and like with your push-ups, that kind of thing. And also looking at your core strength and your quads, but then your endurance and your stamina. This helps address blood pressure issues. We saw that in the studies with the heart, and pulse rate, to reduce pulse rate and endurance, increase endurance time. So if you're looking at the spine and things in the bones, the vertebrae is degenerating, then you would look at these two together. So again, COPD. So if you didn't hear me in the beginning, you just joined, it's okay. So I'm not going to discuss any specific disease or disorder or any syndrome, because that would, show that we would claim to treat or cure something, and we're definitely not here to do that. So when I look at the lungs, for example, I can look at lungs and I can say what patches would support the lungs. And so I would obviously address the inflammation issue, and I would increase the body's ability to mobilize its own stem cells. And so I would look at these two right out of the gate. I would also look at carnosine, how it supports the organs as well too. And even glutathione, it's the master antioxidant, immune booster, and detoxer. I can't give you a time frame because everybody is different. And so I know we're used to, oh, I'm going to take this medicine and you're going to notice this in the next, day to 2 days a week, and you're going to notice this in the next, 60 days. I don't know what you're going to notice, because here's the beautiful thing about the body. The body has its own innate ability to know how to heal itself, right? That's what stem cells do when you're younger. They know how to go in and fix and repair everything, and that's what keeps you young and youthful. And then as we age, your body makes less of those, and so its ability to repair itself diminishes. And everybody has different things going on inside of their body, physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually. And so that is different for every single 8 billion people on this planet. There is not one person that's the same on the inside. And so whenever you think about my body's own ability to repair itself is being improved, that means that my body knows what to do. It knows how to repair and regenerate itself. It's going to do that in the order that it needs. And we kind of give that general rule of thumb of 1 month for every 10 years you are old, because that's kind of your starting point. If, like I said, if you're 60, you need to look at 6 months. What about Bob Campbell? I shared his testimonial again in an email that just went out. And I shared that, to watch his replay, because he's been using this technology for 26 months. He's 70 years old. And he was thinking, well, I'll use this for 6 months, whatever. I don't even know longer than that. Listen to his testimonial. He finally got rid of his knee pain after 40 years. At month 7, he decided to give it an additional month. And he thought, well, maybe I'll keep using it, checked all the things off the box, except for his skin cancer. He had to have his skin cancer, all the white spot scabs removed off of his body. So it was excruciating pain once a year, every year. And at 2 years in, 2 years, 2 years using the patches, all that went away. It just completely disappeared. How did it go away? Well, 70 years old, there's a lot going on in that body, right? He had prostate cancer. He had dealt with all of that, and how many surgeries in his knees and his ankles, and the excruciating pain. He couldn't even put his feet on the bed at night to sleep. He had to hang his feet off of the side of the bed because it was so painful. So sometimes it takes time for people's body to repair, depending on what's going on. So I can't give you an exact time frame on that. I know it's probably not an answer you want. People are used to, I want it now, and I want it now, and I want it now. Well, get on the X39 and Eon. Let's get started on your repair process. Here's the way I always look at this. Time is going to pass no matter what. We know that. Like the days and the weeks and the months and the years are going by. Sometimes it seems faster than ever before. So are you going to get older? Are things going to grow? Are you going to add more things to your list? Or are you actually going to be getting younger and crossing things off your list? One or the other is going to happen. And so for those of us that are using this technology, we're getting younger and we're crossing things off our list every single day and every single week. And that's why we like to make sure we keep track of it. So are there printed references which patches are best for which organs? No, they're not. And so when we look at organ function, we look at SB6, the endocrine system, the organs. We look at carnosine to improve the functionality of the organs. X39, I mean, it repairs everything. And you can use just this all by itself. I don't know how long it's going to take to repair everything in your body. It may take years. You know, sometimes people are like, well, I've had fibromyalgia for 25 years. I'd like this fixed in the next 30 days. We're like, okay, that's not going to happen. It's going to take longer for the body to repair itself. It's not going to take 25 years, but I would definitely look at a good 12 to 18 month program, right? Being consistent with it. So I can't give you a specific printout for every organ. Unfortunately, we don't look at it that way. David has done a video on every single patch. So you can go to LifeWave Health. They have a YouTube channel, and you can watch him talk about each patch and what it's done in a 1 hour webinar and how it's improved different parts of the body, whether it's an organ or a system or a cell over the clinical studies for that technology, for that patch. Can people with implants such as hip replacements and pacemakers use this device? Laura? Laura's had a hip replacement. She was 1 month in when she had her hip replaced. Laura, can you patch with the hip replacement?
Absolutely.
Not
Absolutely. And it will cut your healing time in half. In half. And Stacy's right. I was introduced to the patches around 3 or so weeks prior to me going into surgery. So I had a little bit of a head start, which made a difference or not. I don't know. But I do know once I got home, we were putting patches all over my right thigh. And my surgeon was shocked, just shocked. My incision went away like that. I had no bruising, no black marks, no blue marks. It was pretty impressive. Pretty impressive.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Amazing.
Cut that recovery time in half, if not more, right?
And who doesn't want that?
Yeah. And
none of us love laying around in bed. Nobody likes someone telling me you can't do something for a certain amount of time.
Mm-hmm. Yep. And pacemakers are the same thing. Of course, always check with your physician if you have questions, but there's nothing wrong with having a pacemaker, a stent, a hip replacement, knee replacement. You're totally fine. As far as migraines, again, I can't really address migraines because that tends to be a category of a disease or disorder that people have. So when we look at the brain, we would look at X39, Eon, and carnosine. We know carnosine is a big antioxidant that does a lot. And so it works with the organs, it works with the brain, it works with the heart, it works with the muscles and the connective tissues and ligaments and stuff and tendons. So I would look at those. Obviously, IceWave. IceWave is huge for pain. So apply the IceWave whenever your head starts hurting. So that's what I would do. If someone has pain in both knees and the back, can they put patches on all the pain spots? Yes, you can. You can patch multiple spots. If your back hurts and your knee hurts, you can put 2 sets of IceWave on. Just remember, white goes on the right side of the body and tan goes on the left side of the body. So if your right knee hurts, you're going to stick the white patch on it. If you're in the, of course, the tan one on the left side. If your left knee hurts, then stick the tan one where the pain hurts and then stick the white one on the right knee on the same location. Same thing with your back. If it's your low back, then white goes on the right side of the spine, tan goes on the left side of the spine. So keep that in mind. It works with the polarity of your body. And you want to open up those energy channels by using it white, right, tan, left. A lot of people are like, well, I'm just going to use the white. I'll use all these and then I'll go use all the tan. It's not going to work that way. It works with the polarity of your body, positive and negative. You need to. Energy enhancer is the only other patch that's set up that way as well too, to increase endurance and stamina and energy in the body. And so it's a white, right, tan, left. And that one actually has very specific acupuncture points that it must be applied on in order for it to work. And so every patch comes with an instruction booklet, and it shows you the exact locations that you can apply the patches so you will get results. It's really important that you get this booklet out. So many people say, I got the patches, I don't know where to apply them. I'm like, open up the booklet. It shows you. Pick a spot, any spot, and apply it. Leave it on 12 hours, take it off, throw it away, do it again the next day. How do you get age biomarkers and what's a typical cost? So I would not know cost, unfortunately. I don't really have an idea for that. Laura, do you know you got your biomarkers done at the same location?
I'm going to put in the chat a company that runs biomarker tests that you can order a kit. So I'm going to put that so you guys can see it.
Thank you. Fantastic. Can we participate in the clinical trials? I'd be interested if possible. I have no idea. I have no idea. I don't want to say no, but I also can't give you like a link or a website, or can't call customer service and say, I want to be present in clinical trials. So I don't even know how that process even works. I think because they're done all over the world. So it's not like we do clinical trials at LifeWave for, in-house with local people. I mean, we have independent researchers and labs all over the globe that are doing studies all the time. Like we have ongoing clinical studies that are happening right now. So they're not actually trials, they're actually studies that have been done at, and they're being done at universities with different physicians and doctors. So I can't say that would be an option. I have no idea, honestly. What's the difference between these patches and transdermal products? So transdermal, like your birth control patch, your nicotine patch, your pain patch, they're transferring. That's what trans means. Transferring a chemical or a substance into the body in hopes that it will do what it's supposed to do. For example, you remember the birth control patch you put on your arm, and then you're supposed to not be able to get pregnant for 3 months or whatever. Pain patch, oh, my back hurts, I'm gonna stick this patch on my body. It's putting a chemical into my body that's supposed to stop the pain at that location. So we are not like that. Non-transdermal means nothing is going into the body. And so this is called photobiomodulation. That white part, embedded in that is a crystal lattice structure that communicates with our body's heat or light. So when we apply this to our body's light reflects back a signal. It reflects back a specific wavelength of light into our body. And that wavelength is what increases GHKCU and increases our body's own stem cell production and mobilization of those stem cells and resetting a third of the genome. So transferring, there's nothing transferring in, which that's why there's no contraindications or side effects. It's signaling the body to do what it did when it was younger. It's signaling the body saying, come on, let's go. Let's balance this endocrine system. Let's get this body back. The energy enhancer triggers beta oxidation. Let's turn body fat into fuel in this body to give the body energy, endurance, and stamina and sustainability, right? David invented this patch, this entire technology. This company came from him working with the Navy SEALs and the U.S. Department of Defense 20 years ago, when he was asked to create something to increase sustainability and endurance and stamina of the SEALs in the field instead of amphetamines and caffeine and uppers. And he was given by the divine, downloaded the information in quiet, right? Listening to God to create a non-transdermal patch that turned body fat into fuel. So nothing's going into the body. It's wearable light technology, biophotonic exchange of information, our body's light communicating with the patch, the crystal lattice structure light that's embedded in the patch. So for stress, you can look at two things. Most people deal with stress, right? Most people do. And so Eon is a patch, like I said, that reduces inflammation. It has a beautiful side effect, and that's reducing anxiety and stress as well. It helps put your body in what's called a parasympathetic state. So calm, rest, relax, digest state. That's wonderful for stress. And we also look at our Nirvana. Our Nirvana is what we call our bliss patch. So works totally different. This signals a peptide in your liver to upregulate SOD. This signals your brain to works with your neurohormones and your neurotransmitters in your brain. So very different technology, right? Same wearable light technology, but very different pathway that it's working through. And so this is what we call our bliss patch. And so it is our mood balancer, stabilizer. So when you have someone that deals more with anxiety and fear and worry and depression and even bipolar, like this is, again, we're not saying we're going to cure those things, but those are things that people deal with. And so you look at the symptoms of those and we say, well, we can help bring the body back into balance, and we can help stabilize the mood. And we do that with their Nirvana. Increases beta endorphins. So fantastic also. How often do you use the glutathione? So that is a personal choice. So for me personally, I use glutathione every day. I know it's really important. It's the master antioxidant, the master detoxer, the master immune booster. I also know the oldest people on the planet have the highest level of glutathione, and that's important. I know that glutathione production declines in our body as we age, which is another big part of the aging process, but most people have compromised immune systems. That's very common knowledge now. And so when you can keep your immune system up, then that is what keeps you healthy, right? And that keeps your body vital and is for longevity. So glutathione is different than a glutathione push, an IV push, which Laura was doing on a regular basis at the end of her vitamin drips every week. And it's very different than even a suppository. She was doing glutathione suppositories every night. I talked to a lady today that was prescribed glutathione suppositories from Dr. Jackie. And so her son, his early 20s, was not too keen on that when he found out what a suppository was. She goes, I think I'm going to get him some patches. I think he'd rather do this and stick something up his butt. But I'm like, I don't blame you. I wouldn't either. But, glutathione in those forms is going to increase your glutathione level by about 23%. And glutathione has a 7-minute half-life. So this patch increases your glutathione by 300 to 400%. And actually sustains it for a 24-hour period. So what does that mean for your immune system? You can use it every other day because you're getting 24-hour coverage, right? Use it for 12 hours. It covers you for 24 hours and you can use it then after that. But it's a personal choice. For me, I feel like glutathione is very important. I've always been into antioxidants. I've always looked at ways to keep my body, my immune system up. When you see people like, well, I have asthma, I have allergies, I have autoimmune, I have, all this stuff. And I'm like, well, I don't have any of that. Why do you have that? That's not normal. So your immune system's compromised. Well, how do you get your immune system up? You look at two massive big antioxidants that the body's supposed to be producing, but isn't, right? Or isn't doing it effectively. And so these are the two big antioxidants. Oh, perfect. Laura, can you put the website in the startx39now.com? All of our clinical studies are published there. There's a link, clinical studies, and you can see every single one of them. They're all there. Nothing is hidden at all from you. So you can see all the different types of tests that were done. Many tests were done on people. You can see all the background information. Everything's there. The patents are there as well too. This stem cell activation patch has a 20-year patent, and the other patches, their patents are there as well too. Let's see. Okay, so Alavita. Alavita is not a patch for sleep, and it's not a patch that inhibits sleep. It has nothing to do with your sleep. So thank you, Laura. I can't find mine right now, but it's probably in my bedroom. Alavita is a patch that signals a peptide in your pineal gland, the epithelium peptide. And so it works in a lot of different ways. Number one, it reduces oxidative stress, which is fantastic. It helps to lengthen your telomeres. Your telomeres determine the length of your life. They're little end caps on your chromosomes. And so we know that that patch is huge for the anti-aging on the outside of the body. When you reduce oxidative stress, you reduce inflammation. The aging comes from the inside. It's all an inside job. So if you see people that look older or you can really see the signs of aging, something's not right on the inside. Their body is not functioning correctly. Their immune system, right? Their inflammation issues, stress, oxidative stress. And so Alavita works to do that. I have never heard one person say that it kept them up at night. If anything, I had people put it on their third eye and they're like, oh my God, the vivid dreams were so amazing. But I've never had anybody say it kept them up at night. And I've also never, ever heard David say use it during the day. So I don't know. I've never heard him say that on a video. What would be the best patch to support the kidneys? So looking at kidneys, I would do X39 and Eon. Of course, you can do, the SP6. It's fantastic for all organs. That would be fantastic. And depending on what's going on with the kidneys, you might look at energy enhancer. It's fantastic for turning over the lymphatic system, which obviously is filtered out through the kidneys to keep that healthy. So that may be an option as well too. So LifeWave Health is their YouTube channel. You can find all of David's videos on each product on the LifeWave Health YouTube channel. Multiple X39. So Laura, when I think she's asking about post-surgery, you use 2 X39 and 2 Eon, correct?
No, I did not.
What did you do?
I just did 1 X39, 1 Eon, 1 glutathione, 1 carnosine,
Okay.
and a set of energy enhancers. And then at night when I went to bed, I did Alavita.
Okay, fantastic.
Yeah.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Can you multiple patch? You can, if you want to, for something that's acute, a short term, if you want to. Don't do that on a daily basis. You're not going to get that much more benefit. David said you're probably going to get about 20% more at most. And so it's when you're looking at 100%, that's 80% you're not getting, you're wasting a patch. Now I know for my son, when he split his lip wide open in basketball and when he sprained his ankle at a different time in basketball, I triple patched him with X39, Eon, and carnosine. I did that with both of his areas. They were both healed in days. His body healed itself, right? And so using the technology to support the body, I triple patched him to help his body to repair faster. And so it did. I just went over Alavida. So blood work, you would have to talk to your practitioner. We're talking specifically about biomarkers that we've done. And typically your functional med doctors are very familiar, and naturopathic doctors are very familiar with biomarkers and looking at, I have a whole entire book on bioregulatory medicine that goes through every single system of the body and exactly which types of tests you need to do for each blood work, in the blood work for each organ and system. So I would talk to your practitioner, but Laura has included the link in there as well too. It's pretty simple and easy to do. If you go swimming, is it okay to wear swimming? Is it better to wait to put it on? I love this. People ask me this all the time. Okay, so David started the company 20 years ago working on the mini sub with the Navy SEALs, inventing different things for them on that project. And he was asked to invent something to increase sustainability and stamina and endurance and energy of the SEALs in the field. And he invented the energy enhancer, which is a patch, right? It's the white patch, tan patch that turns body fat into fuel. And so the SEALs get in the water, right? And from there, of course, 9/11 happened. The world, was working to protect, our country was working to protect the entire country, to bear more arms. And so they stopped that project. And David thought, I have an idea here, maybe to start my own company. I have ideas for other patches. I think I'll create a company called LifeWave, and I'll start marketing this and start doing tests, which he had been doing, clinical studies. And he started using this technology with the Stanford swim team. And he was working with the swim coach there, and that worked really well. And of course, you can see those studies on the website. And he started working with the USA Olympic swim team. And even to date, last year, the USA Olympic swim team is using the energy enhancer. And of course, I don't know if you heard back, I think it was 2008, the big controversy when the swim team, swept the gold in the Olympics. And they, what are these patches? What are these things they're putting on? They're putting something in the body. You can't do anything to enhance performance. And they did all their tests, and and of course, they ruled out nothing was going into the body. Okay, fine, it's approved, and swept the goal. So yes, it's perfectly fine to wear swimming, showering, or sweating. Absolutely. Yep, swimming, sweating, or showering. Perfectly fine. Oh, thank you. I appreciate that, Stephen. So what was the name of the book you mentioned? Bioregulatory Medicine? I don't think I have it right here. Maybe I do. No, I don't think so. I think I moved it. Bioregulatory Medicine, somewhere around here. I don't know where right now off the top of my head, but that was the name of the book. It's one of the books I had to read from my PhD in functional med. It was really good, actually. What other questions do you guys have? We have a couple more minutes.
Hey, Stacy, touch on the fact that, glutathione obviously is the master of all antioxidants that our body makes, but I think a lot of people don't know what it really does for the joints.
Okay, absolutely. Yeah. So, when you look at aches and pains and your joints, right? There's how many joints do we have in our body? I don't even know right now off the top of my head, but hundreds. And so everything moves, thousands maybe. And so as we age, that tends to become a little bit, things are more stiff, right? As we age. And so the glutathione, we call this kind of like our liquid gold. So it just coats the joints. If you can kind of picture just a pitcher pouring liquid gold over your entire inside of your body. And so when we look at those joints and those aches and pains, we look at X39 and Eon. Of course, a lot of times there's inflammation in the joints. That's why there's a lot of pain. And, of course, stem cell production is huge. But the glutathione is really important to coat your joints as well, too. And so we find that people that have pain from arthritis and things like that, of course, they can use IceWave temporarily, but you really want to get in there and coat those joints, and that's what glutathione does. So it's fantastic for When will the Tuesday session reconvene? Next week. So if you're just joining us, or if you came a little late, I am flying to Nice, France tomorrow for the LifeWave convention in Europe. That's happening this weekend. And so I will be in the air over the ocean during the time that we normally do the Zoom on Tuesday night. I've been doing that Zoom for 3 months now on Tuesday night. So this is the first time we've had to switch to Monday. I apologize. But next Tuesday, I will be back in the States, and I will resume the Tuesday night Zoom at 8:30 as normal. Okay, so you put on the energy enhancer and it didn't stay. Okay, so 2 things. Number 1, I would try the insides of your ankles. That's a great spot. Like, I find I have to actually dig and peel it off. That spot, a lot of times, for like, I can't do the hand locations for energy enhancer. I'm constantly washing my hands. I'm in water, and yeah, you can go swimming in it, or you can jump in the ocean, take a shower, whatever. But if you're, if it's something you're doing over and over again all day long and you're constantly wiping, they may come off. If you're sweating, these areas are going to sweat a lot more than the insides of your ankles. So I would try that location for your energy enhancer. Definitely. Is it okay to put the patches where the pain is, or better to put them in the meridian points? Put the patch, the IceWave, put it where the pain is. Where the pain is, it works to open up the energy channels in that location, and it's going to help to eliminate the pain there. So numbness in the fingers, I would obviously use X39 and Eon, but I would also look at IceWave and even energy enhancer. And so, using the energy enhancer on these points right up here, even using the IceWave up on the shoulder to open up energy channels down your arms. Or you could even use them on your wrist. I had a lady at an event back in May that had the numbness and tingling on her fingers, and we put IceWave on her wrist, and that helped to open everything up, and she no longer had numbness on the ends of her fingers. Oh, good job, Leah. Clean skin, alcohol prior to patching. That's fantastic. I don't do that. I get out of the shower and I coat my body in lotion, and then I stick my patches on, and then I still find myself digging them off at the end of the night. Sometimes too, what I found with people, sometimes it's a detox thing. So I find that people that have a lot of toxins or need to do a detox, at the beginning, their patches may slide off faster. I remember when I first started, I forgot about that. And people were like, why is this? And then somebody said, oh, you have too many toxins in your body. They're sliding off. And then once they started using glutathione, then it was like, oh my God, I can barely pull these off. They're hardly coming off. Yeah. Can we wear the glutathione and carnosine more than 3 times a week? Yes. You can wear them every day. I wear them every single day. I've worn them every single day for 18 months. So for carnosine is, of course, huge for the brain. It's huge for the heart. It is huge for the muscles. And so they talk about carnosine when they say 3 times a week. That's for someone that doesn't do any kind of exercise, because carnosine helps to build lean muscle mass. It's not going to be harmful if you use it more than 3 times a week, but go for a walk. Like, get out there and get some movement. Go for a swim, put on the YouTube on your TV and, do some core work, or, I don't know, jazzercise or Zumba or something. I have no idea. Get some movement going, but it doesn't harm you to use it every day, even if you're not exercising. So it's okay to use carnosine and glutathione more than 3 times a week. I don't know how often you use them, Laura, but I'm a daily girl.
Every day.
Yeah, and we still have 1 head, 2 eyes, 2 ears. Like, we're not sprouting other body parts, so we're good. Just a rough average. Most people get results in the first week or first day. No, it takes 90 days to 100 days. Oh, 80 days. Okay, so here's the thing. Results. So clinical studies show that about 80% of the people are going to experience some type of improvements in the first 3 to 6 weeks. There's another 20% that it's going to take about 3 to 6 months. If you watched me interview Catherine and Mark and Rosemary and Sheila a few weeks ago, it took them 3 to 5 months before they started noticing things. And boy, when they did, they were massive, right? That compound effect went boom, 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 boom. And these are healthy people. But Rosemary hadn't walked without a walker in 2 years. And at 5 months in, that woman's doing laps around the convention center like it was nobody's business. So, and she hasn't stopped since. So using this, I would look at your age, okay? Do people experience something from one patch? Some people do. I've slapped on an X39 on Laura's shoulder and she had pain reduction in 20 minutes. I didn't notice anything for 3 weeks. And again, at that, it was just improvements in my workout and processing time in my brain. It wasn't like there was anything dramatic or, whoa, life shattering. Like I told you at the beginning, for me, I started using this technology because what it would do for other people. I know the power of stem cells. They literally are the holy grail of healing. There is a $106 billion stem cell education industry out there. $106 billion is spent on stem cell research. That's not something that's like, oh, it kind of works, maybe. No, like everybody in the planet is trying to figure out in the medical world, how do we increase stem cells without, going into looking at, unethical ways, of course. Of course, that's happening, but people are trying to figure out how to increase stem cell production because it's literally the master of everything, right? And so David spent 10 years in the lab quietly behind the scenes, and he figured out how to do it through the pathway of GHK-Cu, copper peptide. And so it takes time for regeneration. So I don't ever want to say you're going to notice something in a day or even a week. If you do, that's fantastic. But let's look at the long haul here and improving the functionality of the cells and tissues and organs and regenerating things. So everybody's going to be different. There is no time frame, but I will never, ever, ever tell anybody they're going to experience something before that 3 to 6 week mark. If you do, fantastic, but most people it's 3 to 6 weeks, and sometimes it's 3 to 6 months, but we're going to go off your age. So if you're 50, you're going to I want to talk to you during the process, but I want to know what's going on at 5 months, at 6 months. That's what I want to know what's going on with you. Okay. So X39, yep, I talked all about X49 earlier. I sure did, but we ran out of time. So you have to go back and watch the recording. So how many patches you get them for like each one, for instance, X39. So everything comes in a month's supply. So you get a month's supply, 30-day supply, and you can look at what works best for you. You can get a wholesale pack. And so I'll wrap it up by saying this. So a wholesale pack, you're going to get back with the person that invited you. They can help you get set up. We have 2 options in our world. You can purchase retail. It is going to be a month supply for the X39, a month supply of the Eon. A month supply is going to be $150. X39, a month supply of Eon is going to be $80. That's the retail cost. We like to talk about a wholesale pack. It's called a silver pack, and it's $299. There's no sign-up fee. There's no auto ship or anything like that. You can get 2 months of X39 and 2 months of Eon for only $299. So you can get 1 month retail for $230 or 2 months wholesale for $299. So that's what we like to talk about. So price-wise, you're talking about a cup of coffee a day. So it's definitely not expensive. I spent over $100,000 in stem cell therapy on my daughter. So that is expensive. That is costly. But this is extremely affordable and extremely effective with 0 risks or side effects at all. So as far as conventions, John, last question. They are very informative. Absolutely. We have 1 convention per year. That convention was back in August in the United States. And of course, this European convention is coming up this coming weekend. But we do have different things in different areas. So make sure you stay in touch with Lillian and Dr. Nirmala and April and myself. We will definitely be sharing, as we always do, on our pages when there are events coming up in different areas, whether it's Houston or Dallas or Arizona or Hawaii or Florida. We'll definitely share all that. So thank you guys so much for being here tonight. I appreciate you. I appreciate all of you that ask questions. That's the way we learn, right? And again, get back with the person that invited you. They work directly with someone in our organization that has experience and knowledge in this to be able to help you and guide you on your journey, help you pick what works best for you. Again, if you do nothing, start with X39 and Eon. It's fantastic. If you do nothing but start with X39, that's fantastic. Just remember that we're looking at regenerative medicine, and we're looking at helping the body to repair and regenerate itself over time. So this is not a pill that you take and a magic potion and you're fixed tomorrow. That's absolutely, you should run from that. So thank you again. You guys have a fantastic evening. I will see you next Tuesday on the Zoom here, same location next Tuesday.